Right, let's have a go at 12 then. You notice we got 4x squared, so we just want 1x squared for completing the square. So I need to divide all the way through by 4. So divide that by 4, all the way through on the left by 4, every single term on the 4, and on the right by 4. So we end up with x squared then, minus 3x plus a half equals 0. So now we've got what we wanted. We've got our single term of x squared. To complete the square, you take half of that, and you can just simply write minus 3 over 2. So half of minus 3 is minus 3 over 2. Put bracket squared. If ever you forget, I just write it down a couple of times. So x minus 3 over 2 squared is this. If ever you forget, and you draw 4 lines, don't you? So that would give you your x squareds. Then you've got your middle line, minus 3 over 2x, and another minus 3 over 2x. When you put them together, you get minus 3x, don't you? Then the last term is plus 9 over 4. So you've got a plus 9 over 4 hiding here when you expand the bracket. So to get rid of that, we just simply write minus 9 over 4. So that cancels that out. And we've got our half, haven't we? Which I can write the half as 2 over 4. Just scale it up to quarters. Yeah? So that's what we've got. So we're nearly there. X minus 3 over 2 squared then. This is minus 9 over 4 plus 2 over 4 is minus 7 over 4. So let's just write it down like that. Now we can move it across. You might have cut short that line there. Move that across to equals now to 7 over 4. Square root both sides. Square root of something squared is the object itself. And then you've got the square root of 7 over 4. And it's going to be plus minus, of course. And then that tells you now, the last thing you need to do is move the minus 3 over 2 and flip the sign. So x equals then. Let's tap these in into our calculator. Let's try and use the formula here. So we've got 3 over 2. So let's write that as a fraction since we're using fractions now. 3 divided by 2. Oops. Delete that. I need to skip to the next thing underneath. 3 divided by 2. Skip along the row. Back to ground level. And I'm going to put plus in now. And it was root. Now be careful here. It's the square root of a fraction. So we can put the fraction. It was 7. Skip along to the next entry point. Over 4. So we all happy? 3 over 2 plus root 7 over 4. Let's just get out of that and I'll press equals. Get the decimal. 2.82. Go back just to check. 2.822. So it is 2.82. And now we just need to change. The next one will be, instead of plus, it'll be minus, won't it? So let's just toggle back and change that to a minus. And let's see what we get. There we go. 0.177, so that 7 rounds up to an 8, doesn't it? So move that to an 8, 0.18. So let's just check the answers then, and hope we're correct. So we got 4x squared minus 12x plus 2 is what we started with, didn't we? So can I just scratch these now, because I'm going to go back to this. Like so, we got that. And now we're going to put in a value. Let's put in 0.18. Yeah? So get our calculator up. 4 times 0.18 then. 0.18 squared. No, not cubed. Squared. Right, 4 times 0.18 squared minus 12 times 0.18 plus 2 equals. Oh, that looks nice and small. Yeah, that's good enough. I think we might be okay there with a 0.0 something. Good, so it looks like there's a good chance we're alright here. And then you've got 2.82, so hopefully that one's right as well. Okay then, that's that one done. That's 12. That's completing the square. They don't get a lot more difficult than that in principle. That's it. Basically all we did was we divided by 4 all the way through. Every single term on the left equals whatever's on the right divided by 4 again. We got this. We noticed the minus 3. Now the key here is to write that as a square bracket. you just halve that number. So we did that there. And there's your square. So write that down. There's no more thinking about than that. Then, just in your mind's eye, what you've got to be careful, just take into account that that was x squared. That one's covered. Yeah? And then your minus 3x comes from the two middle lines. There's a minus 3 over 2x, and there's another minus 3 over 2. Combine them together, you get minus 3. And then the last line, which is the tricky thing, is minus times a minus here, which is plus 3 over 2 times 3 over 2, which is 9 over 4. So that pops up when you write this bracket in this form. To get rid of that 9 over 4, we put a minus 9 over 4, so it takes it back to 0. So we take care of that, and then we can just drag down whatever's here. And instead of a half, we wrote that as 2/4 because this was in quarters. Put them together, you get minus 7 over 4. Then we moved it across. Square root both sides. This then becomes a plus minus. And you undo this. To undo a square, you square root. So we can just write the object here. Move the 3 over 2 over. Tap it in the calculator, and you get the answer. Okay then, so we'll speed up now on 13 and the rest. I'm not going to bother probably putting this down as well. I'll just halve it from here on in. Okay then, let's go on. Great.